What up, YouTube? So today is going to be part 10 of the K20 dc2 bar video, and it's time to start wrapping up the rest of the stuff on this car, as far as AC system, the exhaust, wiring up the O2 sensor, getting the temperature, or at least tapping for the temperature. I have to show you guys that. That's kind of the last thing for the gauge cluster. And just little things. We still got to do the heater hoses, and then after I'm done with the AC, I can mount the actual radiator and finish doing the hoses for that. I'm gonna go ahead and start wrapping this all up so we can put the fenders back on. Just little things, so when we start the car again, it'll sound quiet. We can let it run and idle, let the cooling system blade, and just get this thing almost ready to drive away. So we'll also be installing the hybrid racing shifter. So we got the hybrid hoses for the AC, we got the shifter and the exhaust that we're trying to complete today, and a couple hoses. So this car, hopefully either by the end of this video or the next video, we'll be driving the car. So we're gonna go ahead and start knocking all these little things out. JFab's gonna go ahead and start putting the downpipe on so he can mock up the stock exhaust to the RSX cat and TSX manifold, so, or at least TSX downpipe. So we're gonna go ahead and start knocking that out, then we'll come back and then show you what we're gonna do next. All right, so now that we're back, I can kind of show you all the lines for the AC that I did to show you how to complete the AC. So as you can see, the condenser is brand new, the Evap is brand new, just to make sure that the system is clean. So you're going to be using this 2 stock lines from the actual integra itself, and then this line is going to be used all the way from the bottom. So the bottom from the inside condenser, you're going to use that complete line. The hybrid racing just provides the top that goes into the compressor, and then the compressor to this side of the condenser, which is right there. And that's basically it. So that's all you have to do as far as the AC lines. It's pretty simple. You might have to do a little bending, but just make sure you're careful. You don't want to kink the lines. So to do an overview, all the lower hoses is going to be used, and the only thing you're going to be using is the high from the hybrid racing as far as their lines. So there's 3 lines, the top one, this one right here, and then from the compressor to the condenser. So that's it. That's all you really need to do. And now I can start wiring up the actual wiring for the AC, and we'll be complete. So now I'm gonna throw the radiator back in, and we're gonna start finishing all our hoses. So right now I'm gonna go ahead and start doing the heater hoses. Put the radiator hoses back on in the front, and then we'll go on to the next and come back and see what we're gonna do next. All right, so now it's time to install the hybrid racing shifter bracket and then the shifter itself. So what I did is just aligned it on there for now, and then I got my 2 spots where the holes are gonna drill. So now I can go ahead and install that, and then we'll come back, install the shifter itself, and then we'll start figuring out where we're gonna run the cables through at the bottom, so we can put our K-tuned adapter through there, so it'll look a lot cleaner. And then after that, we should have shifting. So I'm gonna go ahead, knock this out real quick, get it installed, and then we'll come back and see how it looks. All right, so now that we're back and we got the shifter in, all installed, I really like hybrid racing. Like, it's real precise. It feels like a real shifter. Doesn't feel like just a chunk of metal. They really put time and research and development into their product. So the shifter is complete. Now I just have to trim off this little plate right here to fit it up in there, and then we'll be done with that. And then I guess we can start doing our hoses. As far as the heater hoses, So we're gonna knock that out right now and almost get ready to start bleeding this thing and hopefully filling it up with radiator fluid, see how it runs. JFab's working on the exhaust right now. Just got the welder fixed. Hopefully everything's good on that. So yeah, he's gonna get that going. We'll install the heater hoses. I'm gonna run the fan wire to the radiator, so that'll all be stock. I'll tuck that away. Still got to do a couple things on the AC. I got to extend. I think this, I might have to extend this a little bit, or no, it's actually pretty good. I got to extend the control for the actual clutch on the compressor, so extend that and tuck that away. Other than that, yeah, hopefully we can get this exhaust done so we can see how it sounds with the complete stock exhaust. So we're gonna start knocking out these hoses real fast, and then we'll come back. Hopefully we have the exhaust done as well, so I can show you that. All right, so now that we're back, we're gonna be putting the axle on the half shaft. The easiest way, since if your half shaft is dry, you might want to put like some grease on it, because it will be kind of hard to kind of push the axle in. And what I like to do is, once I put it kind of on the actual half shaft and you put it through the splines right here, kind of use the actual spindle to push it in and it'll pop right in. So for some people who don't know what axles I'm using, I use the Yonaka Motorsports Stage 2 K-swap axles. I haven't had any problems with up to about 400 horsepower on these. So from what I've seen, they work really good for the price. You can use like RSX base model axles. Those will work as well. If you just want to go to your parts store, you can use EP3 axles as well, but you have to swap the inner joints. And that basically just means make the half shaft the passenger side, and the passenger side transmission will become the passenger side over here. So it's basically vice versa of the inner shafts. So right now I'm gonna go ahead and drop these axles in, and then also put the tie rods from the other rack and pinion on here, and then we'll come back and show you what we got done. All right, so let's get back to what we got going so far. Now we got our axles in on both sides. And like I said, if you have any trouble, just try putting some grease and that should slide in pretty easy. I also went ahead and did the hoses. I just gotta put some garden hose clamps on those, because the OEM clamps don't usually work. They usually still leak sometimes. So also I used, like I said, these are from the RSX, so this hose is actually a little bit bigger, so you want to make sure you use the bigger hose on the outer one, because it'll be really tight unless you're doing a bypass and you're not running heater hoses at all. The next thing we got to get done that's basically left for the cluster is we're going to run the temperature sensor. So some people, when they do regular swaps, the actual kit comes with adapter to adapt to this, but we actually need this for smog, so we can't eliminate this. So what we're going to do is I'm going to drill and tap right here and just thread it to have this sensor right there. And since the hose only comes to right here anyways, we should be good. And that way that won't mess with any of the smog. And everything will be working on the dash. After that, I believe we can start clamping everything down as far as the radiator hoses. I'm actually going to recut the bottom hose because it's a little bit kinked, it's a little bit too long. And then our radiator hoses will be all finished. We'll have temperature. The exhaust is almost done as well. We just gotta bring the hanger to a new position for the rubber to meet with the actual exhaust, since it was extended. I guess I can show you that right now. Hangs kind of low as well, as you can see, so we're gonna definitely have to bring it up a lot more, because that's definitely not gonna work. Yeah, so go ahead and put the sensor on, and then we'll get back to that, finishing up the exhaust. And then after that we'll bleed the clutch, and hopefully get this thing driving. I also had to get a gooseneck or a steering column for the manual rack and pinion. The Integra one didn't work. It's actually bigger, so if you are going to a manual rack, make sure you replace that as well. Other than that, yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and start installing the sensor real fast so we can get this over with. I can run the wire that I have pre-ran from right here from the inside, so it's ready to go. I'll probably run it along and tuck it along the engine harness so it'll look real clean, so there doesn't look like there's a whole bunch of wires out of place. I've noticed on a lot of swaps that I be seeing online, like you see wires going everywhere. I just feel like that looks tacky. Sometimes it's better to take a little time and do it right. So we'll go ahead and knock this out, and then we'll come back, show you how it's gonna look, and then we'll go from there. All right, now it's time to get to the O2 sensor wiring. So basically, since it's already been cut, I'm just collecting the wires that putting it back together. So you got yellow with the green wire right here, you got the red wire right here, and then you got your green wire right here. You're gonna connect those. This is your power, and these two are the ones that tell you like your air fuel ratio, and then this is the ground that'll be going to this right here. So those 4 wires, it's pretty simple. I mean, I'm just gonna be connecting these 4 wires right here, and then the other 3 is gonna be E2, E6, and E8, I believe, for the secondary O2 sensor. So we'll go after that. I'm gonna wire these up real fast, and then we'll come back and come to the secondary O2 sensor so I can show you exactly what wires those are. But just in case you guys don't know, the primary O2 sensor does come off the C101 plug. So I kind of already have it on here. As far as the white one, that's like the center. I think that's like a 14. And then the green yellow is like number either 3 or 6 right here. And then the red one is gonna be, I believe, 19 right here. And then the green one's number 1 right here. So just in case you guys don't understand it, it's coming straight off of this plug right here. So you got green power, you got red for signal, you got yellow, green for signal right over here, and then this one, this white one, is ground, which goes to your relay as well to ground off. So we'll go ahead and wire that up real quick and we'll come back. All right, so time for secondary O2 sensor. So we're gonna be looking for, off of the E plug, E2, E4, E6, and E8. So E8 is actually gonna go to the relay. So if you already have it like this, you don't have to worry about that. That's straight from E plug and it goes to here, so you don't have to wire that. The wires you are gonna be looking for is the red, white, the pink, and the black and white. So the black and white, they're already here. I just have to reconnect it since I cut it. The red and white is already there, so I just reconnected it as well. As far as there's an extra wire, this is the reason why this one's green. This is the red and white wire, but it's wrapped in green because it's insulated for the ground, which is this right here, which will be brown yellow. It's just a logic ground. So, you know, you could tap into that. Other than that, there's this wire right here. This is your power wire, so you're just gonna hook that up to the C101 plug, which is pin number 9. It should be the same color as this one, but black with orange. And then other than that, that's basically it for wiring up the secondary O2 sensor. So next thing I'm gonna do is JFab's finishing up the exhaust, so we'll go ahead and get the first start with the exhaust, make sure we don't have no leaks, and then we'll test out these O2 sensors to make sure that they're working and everything. So we'll come back right after the exhaust is done. All right, so let me show you guys the Evap box that I got installed now, so you guys can see how it's gonna look. So I had tucked it right over here on the side as best I can, so you won't be able to see it too much. I'm still gonna tuck this away. I just wanted to show you how I ran it. So this is actually gonna go behind, but I used the hose that went to this to go to stretch out to come from this box to the gas tank, since the one that comes with its stock is like this, so it's super small. It actually goes right next to the gas tank, so that's the hose I changed. Other than that, this is just a breathe off anyways for the Evap gas. Other than that, got the harness ran, as you can see, all tucked up in here, ready to go. So most likely you won't be able to see, you'll just be able to see the suspension still back here once I put this in its place. But like I said, just wanted to show you guys what you needed to do for the Evap. So 3 plugs are wired in, and then this is the one, I don't know if you can really see it, but this hose back here is the one I stretched out and to use for the gas tank over here. So it's not gonna be that exact hose that's used right there. It's the other one I showed you, which is this one. So you are gonna have to modify that, or just go to AutoZone or whatever and get a new hose. So let me show you what else I did so far. I went ahead and I finished the temperature sensor, so that's all good. I got my hoses on here clamped, ready to go for the heater hoses. I got my bottom hose cut, so it's not too cramped. And I went and got the coolant temperature wire all wired up, grounded. Yeah, so I got the fenders back on here too as well. So the car is actually starting to come together. Next thing we're gonna do is put some fluid in the transmission, and then crank this thing on so you guys can hear it. So while we put some coolant inside of it to get ready to drive. So as soon as we get the coolant in here, and we'll give you guys a first startup with the new exhaust that's on here. That's all completely stock and bar legal. All right, so now we're about to go take this car for a test drive. See how it feels. It's very, very quiet. Barely hear the exhaust. That's how, I mean, stock this thing is, but see, everything's working. Definitely gonna need an alignment. I'm not gonna go all crazy on this video. This is just kind of a test run to make sure. I've been getting the check engine light for 05P0505, which is something with the idle air control valve. So we'll figure that out. Other than that, I just want to make sure there's no other check engine lights, and just kind of get rid of the bugs in this car so we can get this thing to the bar. So far though, so good, no overheating. Feels really smooth, the gears are really good. So I mean, as far as this swap, it was definitely one of the best ones I've had so far, as far as mileage wise. The only one lowest I had besides this one, no, I've actually had a couple, but this one only had 103,000 miles, which is really, really good. So I mean, whoever had this took care of it. It didn't have any aftermarket parts as far as the swap, so I'm guessing the person, whoever had this car, just liked it, or whoever had the RSX just liked the car itself. It wasn't really a racer, so that's good. But so far, everything seems pretty good right now. No check engine lights so far right now, so hopefully it might have just didn't have enough fluid in the idler control valve itself. But yeah, the car is super quiet. Once I get everything together, because I still got to do some wiring, just rerouting it and everything. All the wiring's pretty much complete. As far as the car though, feels really stiff compared to the other bar one I did. I like it. It's really nice setup on here. But yeah, guys, that's basically gonna be the end of this video. The next video will get more detail and everything. I just wanted to kind of show you guys how the car was running since it has been a while. Just been going through all the little stuff on here. It had a misfire, but I fixed that. I think it was just a little coil, but nothing crazy. If you haven't, like, share, subscribe, comment, let me know what you guys think. If you would like to see this car before it was K-Series, you can check out Lucifer DC2 on Instagram, or you want to check out his YouTube page, which I'm pretty sure a lot more videos of this car will be coming up. It's Lucifer Morningstar Videography. And if you want to hit me up on Instagram or anything, it's K-Series Works. And my email is honda.mike1988@gmail.com if you have questions and stuff. But stay tuned, guys. Next video should be a lot more funner. We'll go ahead and crack some VTEC and stuff and make sure everything is running smooth. So until then, I'll see you guys next time.